Greetings, good people. Giving thanks, Ross reports the headline. Speaking about ISIS, apparently there was a man that recently had tweeted 45 tweets that were geotagged, so they know the location of them. His name was Mark Taylor. He was in New Zealand. It says in this article, a New Zealand man thought to have been fighting with ISIS inadvertently revealed his precise location. He tweeted at one point his mission to Syria was a one-way trip and featured a picture of his burned passport, and apparently it pointed to him to a specific location in the Syria town of Al-Taqba. Anyway, the interesting thing about this article is the man thought to have been fighting with ISIS. India deserves applause. They blocked some sites recently that have supported some content that's been put out by ISIS. I won't get into all the details, we don't have a lot of time, but apparently the sites were the Internet Archive, GitHub, Pastebin, which were some websites that people use to communicate anonymously. Hopefully they're not another Tor. They also say YouTube was not on the list. Snoopel apparently has been proactive about taking ISIS videos down. Jordan has claimed to have stopped bombing ISIS after they've captured one of their pilots. However, a U.S. military official told NPR that the Jordanians are still flying bombing runs over Syria. Seems like a bit of a conflict of interest there. For the U.S. official to say that, I think would be jeopardizing the life of that Jordanian pilot. But anyway, there's a lot of unknowns in this situation, which is why I'm sitting here. U.S.-led coalition fighting Islamic State twice failed to rescue the Jordanian pilot. So apparently the U.S. has already went in and then done 2 raids to try to rescue this pilot. Of course, the pilot had an interview with ISIS's official news magazine, Dabiq, D-A-B-I-Q. ISIS fighters unleashed heavy artillery fire at 2 coalition helicopters that were carrying commando units attempting to land in Raqqa. The helicopters were forced to retreat. Turkish news agency Anatolia reported that witnesses said, quote, a number of American soldiers were killed in an exchange with gunfire with ISIS, end quote. So, somehow we're going to go save the Jordanians, but we're not going to save ourselves. I wonder what that has to do with. Reports about a wife and a daughter of Islamic State leader Bagdaddy. Apparently Lebanese newspaper reported she had been detained in coordination with foreign intelligence. Senior Lebanese security official says Baghdadi's wife had been traveling with one of the daughters, and DNA tests were conducted to verify that. They say that she was one of the 150 women that were released from a Syrian government jail in March as part of a prisoner swap that led to the release of 13 nuns that have been taken captive by al-Qaeda-linked militants of Syria. So, Bashar Assad released 150 women that were in jail in order to get these 13 nuns back. Al Arabia is reporting that it's an ex-wife, and it says al-Nusra and ISIS, although I believe it's solely al-Nusra, is calling for the release of the woman, as well as the wife of al-Nusra commander Anas Sharka, and in exchange they would release 25 police and soldiers that they're holding. This report by Al Arabia actually claims that the woman tried to enter into Syria with 2 sons and a daughter. So there's discrepancy of whether it was 1 daughter, 2 sons and a daughter, or New York Times reports that just 1 son and 1 daughter. Secretary of State John Kerry said he did not know the details of the case and that the United States would not take part in such talks. I don't think we engage in that kind of negotiation, period. The Baghdaddy has not appeared in public since July. Since then, he has addressed his followers only through audio recordings and through spokesmen. The United States offered up to $10 million for his head. There was another incident during the Iraq War where the Americans seized the wife of the leader of al-Qaeda in Iraq, Zarqawi, being destroyed because of mass surveillance, and then ISIS come out, predecessor of Al-Qaeda. In an effort to extract information about the group, they took the wife. They said they got little out of her, and they sent her back, and Zarqawi killed her. International Business Times reported that it was not actually one of the wives of Baghdaddy. Satan is divided against himself. CNN contested the Iraqi government's statement, also claimed that al-Dulaimi is a powerful figure within the Islamic State. So apparently CNN is saying, hey, this woman is for real. International Business Times is calling it a fake. You've got the Peshmerga. Peshmerga is battling to reclaim their territory. Peshmerga means those who face death. They were formed as the mountain militia in the 1920s when the push for Kurdistan independence began. They've faced extreme persecution from the CIA-planted Saddam Hussein, and it says they don't suffer from as much psychological issues having to do with war as Western soldiers do, because they've grown up around fighting. Actually even take a salary. They volunteer because they're so loyal to their country and their countrymen. So right now some of the Kurds are being used to protect a dam at the Tigris River in the event that the extremists try to blow up the dam and flood Mosul, which is of course big money for the Western multinationals. One of the officials from the Kurdish region said, we tried to buy weapons from the outside, like from places like Russia and America, but the foreign ministry would not allow it. The Iraqi government hasn't even given us one single bullet. And as we reported, there was supposed to be some airstrikes that were supposed to cover for that group as that was fighting against ISIS that never showed up. Haaretz is a prominent publication out of Jerusalem. It's reporting Bagdaddy. Again, he's the guy that everybody needs to fear. He's the big dog. And the reason why is not because of sophisticated weaponry, but because of social networking. And one photograph is worth 1,000 bullets.